Hi, welcome to this recovery flow. Today, I'm bringing you along for an insight into my private practice. I don't have anything scripted. It definitely won't be perfect, but I'm going to move and breathe in a way that feels best for my body right now. I am really hurting. I have some very, very sore muscles. We did the Murph 2 days ago for Memorial Day, and I am just looking for a way to begin to feel better in my body. I want to bring some fresh blood flow into the areas that are hurting. And by the end of this sequence, I trust that I'm going to feel better, so I hope you will too. So when you're ready, let's meet in child's pose on the back of our mats. All right, let's meet at the back of our mats, toes together, knees out wide, and fold forward into child's pose. Just let your hips fall towards your heels. Relax your face, your forehead onto the mat. Maybe rock your hips side to side, slowly opening your lower back. Inhale, walk the fingers a little bit further forward. Exhale, press through the shoulders, opening the armpits. Pressing that tailbone down a little bit further towards the heels. And breathe through the full length of the spine. Inhale through the belly, all the way up through the chest, through the crown of the head. Maybe extend the hands a little bit further forward and exhale the opposite way the air came in. Lastly, deflating the belly. One more like this. Inhale through the belly. And exhale through the nose. On an inhale, walk your hands further in, coming into tabletop, stacking your shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees. Tuck your feet under. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chin for cow pose. Exhale, round. Pull the tailbone under, pull the chin in towards the chest. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chin. Exhale, push through your hands, rounding through your shoulders, pulling your tailbone under, chin comes to chest. Again. And push. Do a couple more at your own pace. And then we will meet in a neutral spine tabletop. Your left hand will be the foundation. I like to bring it slightly under the center line of my body, and then peel your right arm up, opening up through the armpit. Look up. Maybe look at those right hands. Try to keep your hips level so you're pulling that left hip back and your right hip down towards the mat. And then come back, other side. Right hand comes underneath you, left hand reaches up high, lifting those fingertips up. Now you're pulling the left hip down towards the mat, right hip up, and back. Tuck your tail, tuck your toes under, and push back. Downward facing dog. If this is your first down dog of the day, it feels really nice to walk your dog. Bend one knee, then the other. Pressing through the palms of your hands, pressing your chest closer to your thighs.
And then when you're ready, find stillness. It's okay to have a bent knee. You want to have a straight line of energy from your fingertips along the back of your neck, up through your spine to your tailbone. So if you are rounding like this to have straight legs, bend your legs, pull your tailbone up and tuck it under slightly, and then you can work to release your heels closer to the mat. If they don't come to the mat, it is okay. Take a few breaths here, breathing in and out through the nose. You can relax the head. And then inhale, look at your hands. Walk your feet up behind your palms of your hands, spreading your feet hip width apart, coming into ragdoll pose. Here we're going to bend our knees so that our belly comes onto our thighs, and then drop the weight. The weight on my feet is more in my balls of my feet than my heels, which allows my hips to come a little bit further towards my shoulders. And then you can grab elbows like I am, maybe rock side to side. You can shake your head yes, shake it no. Find any movement here that feels good to you. And then release the hands to the mat. Heel toe your feet together, and with a soft bent knee, we'll roll up one vertebrae at a time until we reach the top. Maybe roll your shoulders up and down your back. Open your arms. Open your hands out towards the front of the mat. Maybe close your eyes. Tuck your tailbone under slightly. Keep your shoulders away from your ears. And settle into mountain pose. One more breath here. And then coming to the top of your mat, inhale, arms come up. Cactus your arms, squeeze your booty, press your hips forward, open your chest, look up. Inhale, bring your arms back up, grab your thumbs, reach tall first, and then stretch to the right, bumping that left hip out towards the sides. Right fingertips are pulling towards the right side of your mat. If you can, look up. Inhale, arms come back up. Exhale, press your hips forward, squeeze your glutes, open your chest. Inhale, arms back up. Maybe grab the other thumb. Exhale, hands come to the left, hip goes to the right, and you can begin to look up. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, cactus, look up. Inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping back to plank. Find your alignment here. Shoulders are over your wrists. Tailbone is tucked under slightly. Drop your knees. Drop your chest. Drop your chin. Inhale, press through your hands. Lift the chest for cobra. Hips are on the mat. Exhale, tuck the toes under. Push back. Downward facing dog. One breath in. And a breath out. Inhale, look at your hands. Hop, step, or float. Feet between the hands. Come up for a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Coming all the way up with straight arms. Cactus your arms. Press your hips forward. Squeeze your booty. Look up. Inhale, lengthen the arms. Grab the thumbs and fall to the right. Inhale, straighten the arms, look up. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, grab the other thumb.
Exhale, fall to the left. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping back to plank. Right away, drop your knees, chest, chin. Press the hands through, coming up through cobra. And tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. A breath in. And a breath out. We'll flow that one more time. Inhale, look at your hands. Hop, step, or float. Feet between the hands. Come up for your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Coming all the way up, arms by your ears. Open them up for cactus. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, fall to the right. Press your left hip out. Inhale, extend. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, up. Exhale, falling to the left, pushing the right hip out to the side. Inhale, back up. Exhale, fold it out. Step back to plank. Knees, chest, chin. Press through for cobra. And tuck your toes, push back. Downward facing dog. Breath in. And a breath out. Inhale, look at your hands. Hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Right away, let's come into chair pose. Bend your knees greatly, bringing your hands forward, sitting back, pulling your tailbone down towards your mat, lifting the toes. Weight comes into the heels. You can have your hands up or down here in a prayer position if that feels better to your shoulders. Just take a few breaths here as we fire on the quads. Engage the lower belly. Your eyes are steady and calm. Relax your face. Relax your teeth, your ears. Find stillness here. One more breath. And fold. Stepping back to your plank. Listen for the change. Shift forward, coming into your chaturanga. So a half push-up. And flip your toes. Push up, upward facing dog. Hips are off the mat. Shoulders are away from our ears. And push back, downward facing dog. Breath in. And a breath out. Inhale, look at your hands. Come forward, forward fold. Right into chair again. Arms come up, find your arm position. Maybe try something different. And then grab your hands. Press your palms forward as we come into our half chair. So our torso is going to come right onto our quads. We're lifting our hands, our pinkies are lifting up towards the ceiling or towards the sky in my case. And there's this opposite push-pull of our hands being pulled towards the front of our mat and our tailbone being pulled towards the back of our mat. And fold. Stepping back with your left foot, knee down. Arms come up. And bring your hands into prayer position, and we'll twist towards the right. The more you can get your armpit on the outside of your knee, the deeper you're going to get into this twist. Just breathe and roll that right shoulder onto the back. Pressing down firmly through the inside of that front big toe. And then inhale, bring your hands back to the mat.
Stepping back to plank. Shift forward, coming into your chaturanga, and then flow it through and push back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg, pull it through, low lunge. Right away, drop that knee. Hands can come up, and we'll twist to the other side. First, bringing your hands into a prayer position, and then locking that right elbow on the outside of that left knee. Really trying to get that armpit connected to the thigh if possible. Press down firmly into both hands, and again onto the inside of that front big toe. Then as you look up, your left shoulder will begin to roll further onto the back, really twisting through the upper back. And then bring your hands back to the mat, stepping back to plank. Shift forward, chaturanga, half push-up. Flip the feet for up dog, and push back. Downward facing dog. And a breath in, and a breath out. Inhale, right leg comes high. Open the hip. You take a few hip circles, one way, and then the other way. And then when you're ready, re-extend. Right leg stays high behind you. Really press through your hands like someone's grabbing your back right toes and pulling them further away from you. And then pull the right knee in towards the chest as you shift your weight over your wrists and drop that right foot into a low lunge. Check your alignment here to make sure your knee is over your ankle, and then coming up. Straight arms. Again, you can always modify by bringing your hands into a prayer position if this is not good for your shoulders. And then if they're not already there, bring your hands into a prayer position. And just like we did with our knee down, we're going to twist to the right side of our mat. Same. Try to get that armpit stacked on the outside of that leg. Pressing your hands together, pressing through your back leg, your knee, like really pressing that up. When you're ready, drop your hands to the mat. Pick your right leg up behind you. Maybe keep it floated for Ekapada. Shift forward, half push-up. Flip your toes up and push back, exhale. Downward facing dog. Right away, left leg comes up. Open your hips. Roll them one way, and then the other way, and then extend that leg behind you. Really pressing through the hands, reaching through those back toes. And then on an inhale, pulling that knee in through the chest, rocking the weight over the wrists, and then dropping that foot into a low lunge. Coming up. Here you're pulling the left hip back and the right hip forward so that both of your hips are facing the front of the mat. Pressing through that back right knee,
pressing through the inside of your left big toe. And then your hands can come into a prayer position, and we will twist to the left. Stacking that right armpit on the outside of that left leg. Pressing through both hands, rolling that back shoulder up and onto the back. Relax your face. And then drop your hands to the mat, pulling that left leg straight out behind you. Maybe you keep it floating for Ekapada. Shift your weight forward. Chaturanga. Drop that toe, push up. Upward facing dog. Exhale, flip your toes. Push back, downward facing dog. And a breath in. And a breath out. Inhale, right leg comes high. Pull it through. Low lunge. From here, we're going to rock our heel down on our back foot, coming straight up into a warrior one. So our back foot's at a 45-degree angle. Our right hip is back. Our left hip is forward. Your hands can be up. You can grab your thumbs, and if you have your thumbs, maybe begin working your biceps back behind your ears. And if you want to, you can begin to look up. And then extend that front leg. Hands come to your hips. We're just going to fold forward at the hips. So keep a softness to your front knee and then fold forward for a flat back. Really reaching the crown of your head towards the front of the mat. Pulling the right hip back, the left hip forward. And then you can drop the hands and try to find some sort of a connection here between your belly and the top of your leg. If you need to bend your leg a little bit more to find it, that's totally okay. From here, continue to reach through the crown of your head as you drop the rest of the torso down. You might come all the way down. The closer you get, you want to try to pull your nose in your forehead towards your shin. Really keep pushing that right hip back, pulling the left hip forward. Breathe deeply through that right hip. Then inhale, extend the arms out long. Find your stability in both feet. Hands come to your hips. Using your core, lift your torso off your front thigh. And feet together at the top of the mat, mountain pose. Take a few settling breaths here. Maybe close your eyes. And if your eyes are closed, flutter them open. Inhale, arms are going to come up and overhead. Reach them tall. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping back to plank and flowing through into your chaturanga. Inhale for up dog and press back. Downward facing dog.
Other side, left leg comes up, knee comes to the chest, pull it through, low lunge, rock the right foot down, preparing for warrior one. Right back foot is at a 45-degree angle, press through both feet, arms come up. Now really pull that right hip forward and the left hip back, pressing evenly through both feet. Maybe start working your biceps either close to your ears or back behind your ears. If you can't grab your thumbs, it's okay. Have them apart. And then just really start working that shoulder strength, that openness to bring your biceps back towards your ears and eventually behind your ears. And extend that front leg long, but with a softness to that front knee. We'll prepare for pyramid pose. Hands come to the hips. Immediately, again, maybe try and push the right hip forward, left hip back. And then I like to use my pointer fingers in my hips to kind of let me know that this is where I'm going to bend from. And then just begin folding from your hip crease, reaching the crown of your head towards the mat. Find that connection between your lower belly and your leg. When you're here, hold it just for a second, working on your strength. My eyes are looking like right at the front of my mat. And then when you're ready, release your hands to the mat. Adjust your hips one more time, really pulling the right hip forward, left hip back. Again, a softness in that front knee. Even it might look straight, but it's not locked. And then from here, begin to find your full fold, collapsing your torso onto your front left leg. Eventually working to bring your nose and your forehead closer to your shin. Keep pressing through that back heel. Breathing through that left hip. Relax your face. Pull the tongue away from the top of your mouth. Relax your ears. Then when you're ready, maybe press through those hands. Check the base, check the weight of your body and both of your feet. Bring your hands to your hips, extend through the crown of your head, and then pull the belly and use your core to lift your torso all the way up. And feet come together at the top of the mat. And mountain pose. A breath in and a breath out. Arms coming all the way up again. Reach them up tall and fold forward. Stepping back to your plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale. Flow it through until we meet in a downward facing dog. And breath in. And a breath out. One more like that. Again, inhale, right leg comes up. Pull the knee through, drop it forward, low lunge. Inhale, we're going to come up to our warrior two. And here, everybody
This back hip should be really pressing forward, and this right shoulder should be pressing back so that we're sitting down evenly. We don't want to be like this, and we don't want to be like this, and we don't, no funniness with the hips. Really sit in. Try to bring this front leg as parallel as you can to the mat, and really press through the knife edge of that back foot. Arms are out long. Your gaze is over your front fingertips. Roll the shoulders up and down the back. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, extended side angle. You can have your hand on your knee. You can press your forearm into your knee, and maybe your hand just comes up so they're at 6 and 12. If you want a further expression of this pose, you can bring that top hand over the ear and really try to create that line of energy from your fingertips along your arm, along your side body, all the way through your back foot. On the next inhale, legs are going to stay where they are. We're going to reverse it. You can bind, half bind here with your hand behind your back, or you can just let that back arm drop, but really reach through this top front arm, reaching towards the back of the mat, keeping that bend in that front leg. Inhale back to warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel your hands to the mat. From here, let's heel toe our foot out to the side. Hands come right underneath us. So my foot is now parallel with the outside of my mat. Your back leg can be lifted like this, or for a more gentle variation, you can bring your knee to the mat. And coming into lizard pose. This is perfectly fine. If you have more flexibility and more range of motion in your body, you can begin to drop your body down. But we really want this knee to stay over this ankle. And then when you find your depth, really just begin to breathe through that right hip. Again, if you want the power version of this pose, you can lift this back leg up and off the mat. Either one is fine. Relax the head. Relax the mind. And then on an inhale, extend your arms out long. Leave your left hand on the mat and then roll onto the outside edge of your right foot and just let your hips fall open. Reach your right arm up towards the ceiling, towards the sky. Look up. And then inhale, bring that hand back. Press into your back foot if it's not already extended. Heel toe your front foot right underneath you so you're back in that low lunge, and then pull that right leg up behind you into a three-legged down dog and release that right leg to the mat. Inhale, left leg comes up, pull it through, low lunge. Inhale, press through both feet, coming up to warrior two. On the other side, finding your depth here, pressing that back hip towards the front of the mat. Your torso is really pressing down towards the middle of the mat. Arms are out to the side, look over your front fingertips. Roll the shoulders up and down your back. and find steadiness. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, extended side angle. Try and do the same variation you did on the other side. Your hands can stay at 6 and 12, or for a little bit more, you can pull that right hand over the top of the right ear, really stretching through the fingertips, stretching through the back knife edge of that foot. Keep the legs where they are. And inhale, cartwheel the hands back, either finding a half bind with the right arm or letting it go, just really reaching back. And then cartwheel the hands back to the mat. Pull that left leg out behind you, stretch it out, release the hip, and drop it to the mat, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths in and out. We'll flow that through with a little bit of an added variation. So inhale, right leg comes up. Exhale, pull it through, low lunge. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, double lunge. Inhale for star pose. Open the chest, look up, and fold forward, hands to the mat. Walk your hands underneath so that they try to bring them in alignment with your feet. If they don't quite get here yet, that's okay. They can stay anywhere that's necessary, under your shoulders or somewhere under your belly. From here, find your depth and then just begin to practice bending your elbows, bringing your forehead closer to the ground. Maybe lift through the balls of your feet, lifting your heels, making sure your weight is onto your toes. And then bring your hands forward. Maybe shorten your stance a little bit. Hands come to the hips. We're going to inhale with a flat back, pull the belly in. And exhale, warrior two. Cartwheel the hands out. Pull that right leg out behind you. And release it to the mat. Other side, left leg comes up. Pull the knee through, low lunge. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, double. Inhale for star. Open the chest. Bend at the side body. Hands come underneath you. A little change up here. We're going to walk our hands over to our right foot and come into deep lunge here. Maybe hold your hands in prayer position. If they need to be on the mat, that's okay. And then you can use your hands or just your legs coming through the middle and over to the left. Try to lift your chest. Roll your shoulders up and back, down your back. And then again to the other side. And to the left. Okay, inhale through a double and up. Warrior two to the front of the mat. And cartwheel it out, pulling that left leg up behind you and dropping it into a downward facing dog. Inhale, look at your hands and come to your knees. We're going to come through and finish off with some work on our backs. To get there, we'll start in a boat pose. So I like to start by pointing my toes and just having them feel very light on the mat so that I can feel the weight coming into my tailbone and I kind of know where my center of gravity is. How far back do I need to lean versus how far forward? So find that center of gravity where your toes can be light, your back is straight, and your top of your head is reaching very tall up towards the ceiling. And then from here, maybe you begin to float your knees, float your hands. You can also straighten your legs if that's in your practice. And we're going to begin to slowly coming into hollow back. So I'm rounding my back as my lower back becomes onto the mat. My legs begin to straighten and extend. I'm hovering. Heels are off the mat, shoulders are off the mat. And then on an inhale, reverse it, bring it all the way back up. Straighten your back, reach your hands forward. Exhale, hollow back, lower. Find that connection between your low back and the mat, hovering. Inhale, come up. Exhale down. Inhale, back up. Exhale down. Inhale, up and hold. Great. Now grab your hands, drop your feet to the mat. We're going to bring our right leg in, and your left leg can be out long in front of you. If you have it in your practice to do this pose this way, you can. I will demonstrate it the more gentle way with your leg out in front of you. Right leg in here in tight. The knee, we're trying to bring it as close to the armpit as possible. We're going to drop the right hand behind our left booty, left butt cheek. So it's crossed behind me. It's not directly behind me, it's crossed behind me. Left hand's going to come up, and we're going to find that connection, kind of like we did in that earlier twist. We really want to try to bring that armpit next to the knee, maybe move the flesh away from your leg. And then press through that back hand, press that front elbow into that knee, roll the shoulders away, reach the crown high, and then twist. Relax your face. The depth of your twist will often follow your gaze, which in Sanskrit we call it your drishti. So fix your gaze on where you want to go, and then let your back follow. And then on an inhale, unwind. Release the grip of the elbow, straighten the legs. You can put some movement into them if necessary. Now keep the right leg long, pull the left knee in, bringing that knee in close to the armpit. My left hand is going to become behind my right butt cheek this time in preparation. Right arm is going to come up tall. Hook the right arm on the outside of that left knee, and then press. Open the shoulders, press through the elbow, press through the knee, and twist. The tighter the connection of your leg to your body, your elbow to your knee, the more you can connect and press in those areas, the deeper your twist will be. And then inhale, unravel everything. Let's take a forward fold here. I like to start with a bent knee, but you can have a straight leg if that feels better for you. The key here is we want to fold with a flat back. This is more of a back stretch than a leg stretch. So starting with your legs together, you bring your hands up and then fold at the hips, just like we were doing coming into pyramid pose. Allow your lower belly to touch your legs, and then if your hands come forward to your feet, you can begin by opening your elbows out wide before you drop the body completely. Maybe your nose and your forehead will come in towards your legs. If you have a connection between all of those things, you can begin to walk your legs back for a straighter leg and then continue at that depth of a fold. But don't lose the connection between your torso and your legs. Just to flatten your legs, you'll lose the pose completely. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. And then on an inhale, pulling your lower belly in first, using your core to come up. Re-extend. Arms can come up long. And then release them by your mat. Shift your weight forward, grab your knees. Let's roll back onto our backs. Do a little bit of a back strengthening before we finish this series together. So your feet can come right behind your booty, and then try to bring your heels as close as you can towards your glutes here. Hands come down. Maybe lift your hips a little bit to bring your arms underneath you if this is available to you, and you can take your hands and grab them, interlace your fingers, and then really press. I like to open my pinky fingers so they're pointing towards my feet. I think it's a little bit more comfortable in my hands. And then from here, we're just going to continue to press up into bridge. Press through your quads. Press your hips up tall. Begin to press through your shoulders. You can even walk your shoulders like a little bit further underneath you. Find a little bit more space. Pressing into the insides of your big toes. And then relax your hands if they're bound. Drop your hips back to the mat. Pull your knees in. Come up for a big squeeze. Drop your left leg out long. Keep your right knee in. And we're going to pull that right leg over our side body. And you can either cactus your right hand or leave your arms straight for a supine twist, but keep both shoulders on the mat. And just gaze out over your right hand. If this right leg is floating, it's okay. You just want to stack your hips one on top of the other and keep your shoulders on the mat. And inhale, bring both knees back to center. And a little squeeze. Extend the right leg out long. Keep the left knee in. Pull that left knee over the right side body. Stacking the hips, keeping both shoulders on the mat. Your left arm can be extended, or it can be in a cactus. And inhale, pull both knees back to center. Maybe give yourself one last squeeze. And then we're going to exhale for Shavasana. Let it all go. Open your palms up towards the ceiling. Let your toes fall outside. Maybe roll your shoulders up and underneath you. And soften your eyes. If you're still with me, you can bring your hands in and bring your feet in, maybe roll onto the right side, and pressing yourself up into a seated position. Roll your shoulders up and down your back. Remove the flesh away from your sits bones. Soften your gaze. Take a few breaths. And I want to thank you for practicing with me today. I'll see you next time.